Hey guys, and welcome to this video on the midheaven in Sagittarius. If your midheaven in astrology is in the sign of Sagittarius, this video is for you. I'm Cassandra, the Saffron Sage, helping you use astrology to evolve. Now remember guys, the midheaven is a point in space. It is not a personal planet, which means it does not affect your personality, but it is a point to shoot for self-mastery. It is the pinnacle of the chart. It is the topmost part of the chart. So if we put our energy toward this particular theme, we tend to be recognized, or it is what we are most likely to be recognized for doing whatever we do. That being said, if you want to know more about the midheaven, check out my midheaven video, and let's get into the midheaven in Sagittarius. Sagittarius is here to expand. The two major ways we see Sagittarius energy show up is one, through travel and expanding the mind through experiences. The second way is expanding the mind through deep philosophy of thought. And the specific energy here is about meaning. Okay, Sagittarius is not just about information. It's about information that means something. So it's not just reading a book and figuring out what it all means. Sagittarius isn't just learning facts. It's learning deep philosophical or esoteric truths that change the way you feel. It's about knowing. It's about personal truth. So what does that mean when we have this sign on the midheaven? This means that you are here to shoot for these energies, the energy of speaking your truth, the energy of changing your perspective. There's also freedom here and wisdom. Now, to get more deep into how this all plays out, we need to start with the IC, which is the bottom of the chart. So in everyone's chart, they have the IC, which is the bottom. That's where you came from in childhood. And then we have the MC, which is the top of the chart. It is what you are reaching for. So you can consider it like a tree where the IC, the bottom of the chart, is like the roots, and then the top of the tree is the top of the chart as we grow and mature and become more self-actualized. So if your IC is in Gemini, that means as a child, the things that perhaps were important in your life or the themes that showed up for you the most would be information. You could have been a studious child. You could have had a parent who was very Gemini-like. What is a Gemini-like parent? That would be someone who talks all the time, a very chatty parent. This could be a parent who really wants to instill in you fact and would correct you if you were wrong, perhaps, and make sure you know the right thing to say, or they want to say the right thing. This can also be a community where people are always talking about each other. There could be some gossip involved here. And one of the more negative ways this could play out for some people watching this is having a parent who is a liar or a manipulator, or having someone in your childhood who told you lies all the time, or having to deal with this early in life in some way, shape, or form. You could also have had a childhood where you had to guess what the other person was thinking. You had to really walk on eggshells and be more concerned with what your parents thought, or someone else in your life, a caretaker, or even an older sibling, and kind of say the right things so that they wouldn't be upset with you, that kind of thing. So these energies of figuring out what the other person thinks and being really hyper aware of their mindset and their philosophy were survival skills for many Sagittarius midheavens. And again, this can be more strong or less of an influence to you, just depending on all the other points in your chart, all the other planets, and how that story unfolds. However, the point here is that for the Sagittarius midheaven, it's right for you to move beyond guessing what others are thinking and to step into developing your own personal truth and your own personal freedom. So this is all about really understanding what life means to you. It could also be possible that as a child you were spoon-fed some kind of philosophy, religion, etc., and you pushed against that by coming into your own truth, your own belief system. Either way, for you, having this midheaven means it's right for you to move toward Sagittarius energy, which is taking the higher road, having your belief system infused with things that are meaningful, living a life of integrity, living a life of freedom, perhaps traveling, perhaps gaining a new perspective. This can be teaching, but if you are teaching with this midheaven, this would be teaching higher truths, higher philosophies, the meaning of life kind of things, not teaching, the ABCs or some other mundane subject. Travel is also can be involved here because Sagittarius wants to expand. So if you're moving toward your midheaven, you would be doing things that are expanding you, things that help you grow, things where you, after the experience, you're different. So this can be even something like a tour guide where you have an experience with people. We also see Sagittarius energy as, that person backpacking through Asia who is going to these different temples or learning from different teachers, that kind of thing, because of that desire, that quest for truth. However, remember that this doesn't mean any of these things have to be your job, because being your midheaven means that you need to work more toward this energy. So you could do any job with a Sagittarius midheaven in a Sagittarius kind of way. So an example of that would be, let's say you work in an office. Maybe you are the person who really understands why, or helps people really feel like their work is meaningful. Even if you worked for a supplement company, you might be the person that just reminds everyone the mission, reminds everyone why we do this and how important it is. Or maybe you're the spokesperson who talks about it, or a bunch of other possibilities here. The worst thing to do with these videos is to watch it and say, oh, I'm a Sagittarius midheaven, I'm gonna go be a monk, even though you don't even want to do that. It's all about infusing this energy into what you're already doing. And in general, I would say the more that your career is working, the more likely that you have already naturally folded in or layered in some themes of your midheaven into what you are doing. Also keep in mind the position of the ruler of your midheaven really matters and makes a huge difference in how this is going to show up in your life. So a Sagittarius midheaven with Jupiter, which is the planet that rules Sagittarius, in the 3rd house of communication, teaching, and learning, they might teach classes. Whereas a Sagittarius midheaven with Jupiter in the 12th house, they might be more on the more spiritual side, where they're maybe teaching how to have a retreat and meditate and understand the value of silence or something. Again, these are just examples. Natural strengths of the Sagittarius midheaven are they are big picture thinkers. They can help you see the vision. They can get inspired. They can be very, very inspiring. And they can also really be good at telling the truth. And sometimes that can go positive or negative, depending on how it's aspected and other placements, but they can be truth tellers, okay? They can be sometimes whistleblowers. They can be, people who see beyond the next step. They'll see the grander vision. They'll see the whole path laid out in front of you and help you get inspired to walk that path. Sagittarius midheaven can be opinionated, and they can really use the gift of stretching people's minds. Remember though, because this isn't a personal planet for them, if you're watching this video and you don't see any of these things in your personality, that's because it's not a personal planet. These are energies to work for. This is an energy for you. These are skills to culminate in order to reach your highest potential. Some example jobs of the Sagittarius midheaven are flight attendant, travel guide, anyone who travels at all for their work, people who work with foreign lands, foreign leaders, foreign travel, foreign affairs. They can be politicians, they can be promoters, they can be orators, they can be great speakers, they can be inspirational speakers, they can be inspirational leaders, they could even do yoga, like yoga instruction. But even if they are doing instruction, it's more likely you would see them somehow infusing a deeper meaning into that instruction. And remember, these are just example jobs. It does not mean you have to do one of these jobs if you have your midheaven in Sagittarius. These videos are just to help guide you to understand it a little bit better. Famous people with Sagittarius midheaven are Karl Marx, Notorious B.I.G., Deepak Chopra, Christina Aguilera, Alicia Keys, Whitney Houston, Whoopi Goldberg, and Pablo Escobar. So that is what I have for the midheaven in Sagittarius. Let me know in a comment below, you guys, if this video was helpful, if it made sense to you. You can book a private reading using the link below, and be sure to join my Facebook group, Astrology and Alchemy, where I go live every single week with the astrology of the week. Thank you so much, as always, for all your likes, comments, and support. I appreciate every single one of you, and I'll see you in the next video.